evening and welcome to the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3. I'm Charlene Ramdani.
Good evening, glad you can join us. I'm Samson Anton.
Good evening, I'm Roger Sant.
In the headlines tonight, efforts to end the industrial action at Petrotrin as the Energy Minister gets set to meet the OWTU. Finance Minister says expect austerity measures in the upcoming budget.
Government to spend big bucks on iPads for parliamentarians. Dismissed Minister Colin Parter believes the police were out to get him.
And in sport, Trinidad and Tobago lose out on the services of Pollard, Narayan and Bravo.
Top of the news tonight. Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine will make an attempt tomorrow to bring an end to the industrial action by Petrotrin workers, which has been impacting on the nation's fuel supplies. The minister and the union sit down for talks at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and already the union is warning that the outcome of those talks will determine whether workers are back on the job or will step up their action. Today, Petrotrin reported that most of its operations were back to normal following industrial action by workers over the weekend. Reporter Chester Sembrano has been following this story.
It's been a consumer nightmare. Long lines at service stations in several parts of the country as motorists engage in a wave of panic buying. In light of industrial action by workers at the state oil company, Petrotrin. Petrotrin admits its operations were again affected on Tuesday. However, following spot meetings by the leadership of the various OWTU branches, many workers reported for duty. And by afternoon, Petrotrin chairman Khalid Hassan Ali was confirming that the company's operations were almost back to normal.
Today we have a reasonably normal operation. We're getting there.
Mr. Hassan Ali says workers at exploration production, offshore and onshore Trinma plants, the Point Lisa Sport and Bun were all at work. He also sought to clear the air on the demands being made by the OWTU, like the variable pay for the year 2010. He explains that only when the company makes a profit of over $100 million is 15% shared equally amongst workers.
In the end result, our auditors were the ones who required us to write part of the plant off in that year, and there's just no profit in that year. And therefore there is no variable pay.
As to the issue of vacancies, he says a review of the organizational chart is currently underway. And he also sought to clear the air on the contentious bunkering contract.
A strategy would be to have a good balance between how many bunkering barges that we have and how many that others have.
A top executive of the OWTU tells CNC3 News that workers were asked to return to work on Tuesday. But whether they stay on the job depends on the outcome of a meeting with OWTU officials and Energy Minister Kevin Ramnarine carded for Wednesday morning. Minister Ramnarine is optimistic about the talks.
We look forward to hearing what they have to say, to listening to them. They are an important stakeholder in the energy sector.
Minister Ramnarine says he will be going into the meeting with an open mind. For CNC3, I am Chester Sembrano.
Meantime, the country's largest business group, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, is hoping for resolution of the situation between Petrotrin and its employees. Chamber President Andrew Sabga admits the situation is worrisome.
We are very concerned about any organization in this country going on strike. We do not endorse that type of resolution to any impasse that may take place. So we are looking on with a lot of concern, and we hope that calmer heads prevail and that the workers go back to work, and that whatever dispute they may have, they take through the provided channels to resolve their disputes.
Finance Minister Larry Hawaii is warning the country to brace for austerity measures in the upcoming 2012-2013 budget. While Minister Hawaii could not give much details because the budget date is yet to be approved by Cabinet, he says tough decisions had to be made. Chester Sembrano reports.
The 2012 to 2013 budget is ready, and all that's left now is for Cabinet to set the date for delivery. That's according to Finance Minister Larry Hawaii, who says he is ready to deliver his maiden budget speech. And while Minister Hawaii is keeping specifics of the fiscal package close to his chest, he told reporters at a Caribbean forum at the Hyatt Regency Hotel on Tuesday that tough decisions had to be made in the 2012-2013 fiscal package to find a judicious mix of measures to move the economy forward.
While at the same time identifying areas in which we will have to implement some austerity measures in order to ensure that we get best value for money.
So what exactly is the definition of austerity? This refers to a policy of deficit cutting by lowering spending, often via a reduction in the amount of benefits and public services provided. Minister Hawaii says another major priority in the upcoming budget is that of income generation.
At the end of the day, if your top line keeps coming down and the expense keep going up, you're going to end up in trouble. You can't. That is not a sustainable position.
While he admits that this will take some time, he is forecasting a growth in revenue by the year 2014. Notwithstanding this and global challenges, Minister Hawaii maintains there are a lot of positive attributes to this country's economy.
I think by and large we have a strong, stable economy.
For CNC3, I am Chester Sambrano.
But even as the finance minister looks to cut spending in his 2012-2013 fiscal package, there is word that government will be forking out over $200,000 to provide all 71 members of parliament with an iPad each. Speaker of the House, Wade Mark, says the tablets which members will be allowed to use while the House sits will help improve efficiency and will in the long run save money spent on stationery and printing. The next few weeks, all members of the Parliament will receive a brand new Apple iPad. However, Speaker of the House, Wade Mark, could not say how much the cutting-edge devices would cost taxpayers.
I don't have those facts before me. What I can tell you, our commitment is to be very transparent. There's no price to pay for democracy.
The Senate President also defended the purchase of the iPads.
If you look in Parliament with somebody's computer, laptop up on the desk, you will see that you really can't see the person, and it becomes as if everybody had their laptop open.
Which you weren't supposed to use as well.
Not in my house, I haven't said that. Not for work purposes. But an iPad is far less obtrusive. And so you have received email on an iPad.
iPads range from $399 to $829 on the Apple website. Using a rudimentary calculation, the cheapest price of $399 for the iPad 2, if the government purchases 73 iPads, that is, for the Speaker and President of the Senate and 71 members, that would be just under $30,000 for the devices. Multiply that by an exchange rate of 6.4, that works out to be 192,000 TT dollars. The members will get to take the devices home, and after their term in office expires, they can keep the iPads for a price to be worked out. The British government has also purchased iPads for the 650 members of the House of Commons at an estimated cost of £200,000. Well, CNT3 News called and messaged several members of the opposition who sit in the upper and lower houses, including opposition leader Dr. Keith Rowley, for comment on this matter, but all attempts were unsuccessful. And that's the story which takes us to the Your Vote question tonight. The question we're asking you to vote on: do you think that at a time when government seeks to cut back on spending, the purchase of iPads for all parliamentarians is an absolute necessity? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, you're texting the letter Y, and if it's no, the letter N. We'll give you an update on how the voting is going during the newscast, and the final vote at the very end tonight. Long lines at fuel stations in San Fernando today as protest action by Petrotrin enters a fourth day. At least one gas station has been forced to close, and another complained that no supplies have been coming. Service station managers in North Trinidad also complain about panic buying. Cameraman Ivan Tulsi spoke to consumers and suppliers in South Trinidad. Samson Anton reports.
San Fernando Tuesday morning, 4 days after Petrotrin workers began staying off the job. Long lines of commuters at attempting to get gas and diesel as fears rise of shortages in supply. The effect is already being felt on some service stations. This one on the San Fernando Wharf already shut. Signs up, no gas. The Petrotrin workers are protesting the decision by the government to issue a marketing license for bunkering to Bunkers Oil International Corporation, as well as the company's position that no variable pay is applicable for the year 2009 to 2010 because the company registered a loss. The Nanu service station on Carib Street is also feeling the pinch.
We have no gas since yesterday. We ran out of diesel, and this morning we ran out of super and premium and diesel.
With demand already high throughout the day, she told us they usually get a regular supply from National Petroleum.
Well, every day we get supplies from NP, including Saturdays. And we didn't get any supply yesterday, and today we didn't get any either.
Some started feeling the impact from as early as Monday.
Well, yesterday we kind of short of gas. All them other gas stations, them doing on the close up and all them stuff. So now it is.
For some, though, there isn't really a problem.
Well, I just came this morning, and thank God there is gas, because last night had a very long line. Very long line.
Up in Port of Spain, pumps operating as normal. An NP tanker having brought gas to this service station uptown. It appeared for the most part that the shortages that affected South Trinidad have not made its way up north, some coming only as a precaution.
I heard a rumour, so I said just in case, because I do have a lot of runarounds to do. So I figured let me go while I have the time.
But the manager of another station on Tragrit Road tells us he believes it could worsen, having not seen an MP truck by mid-morning. He says from the moment he opened, consumers flooded in.
They came rushing, traffic was all along the corner. I himself had breakfast yet, because they really did a panic as usual.
Meanwhile, NP is reporting there were no disruptions in its supply of petrol. The company has issued a statement advising the public that fuel deliveries have been made to service stations in the north and along the east-west corridor from its sea lots gantry, and is urging the public to refrain from panic buying.
Well, just like the gas in South Trinidad, Roger Sant has been a very scarce man around these parts for the last few weeks. I know you all are probably very happy to see him back. Well, he's here in studio. Roger Sant, welcome back. And he's here, of course, as usual, to tell us what we can expect coming up in our sportscast a bit later on. Roger.
Thank you very much, Charlene, and indeed good to be back here at CNC 3. Well, indeed, we'll tell you later in the sportscast about Pollard, Narayan and Bravo not playing for Trinidad and Tobago in the Champions League T20 tournament to be staged in South Africa, what the Sports Ministry and what the TTCB has to say on that issue. That and more later in Sport. Charlene and Samson, it's back to you.
Roger, see you then. Let's continue with the news now with Samson Nanton. Samson.
Thank you, Charlene. Before we go on, though, the question you're voting on once again tonight, we want to find out from you. Do you think that at a time when the government seeks to cut back on spending, the purchase of iPads for all parliamentarians is an absolute necessity? Text your response to the number 2623. If you want to vote yes, text Y. If you want to vote no, text N. We'll give you an update as we go along and the final result at the end of tonight's news. Now, just ahead on the CNC3 news, Colin Parter breaks his silence. He believes the police were out to get him. The Police Complaints Authority want your help as they investigate this incident. Master Panis Lemberg Sharp, he knocks Pan Trinbago over the lack of respect shown for Pan in 50th anniversary celebrations. That's coming up later. These stories and more after the break.
Regular eye examinations allow me to determine prescriptions that will let you see more clearly. They also help identify serious eye disorders, including glaucoma and diabetic eye problems, which, without early detection, can result in devastating blindness. Regular eye examinations help you live a better, more comfortable life by delivering better care for your gift of sight.
As the news continues, a week after his very public dismissal, former Minister Colin Parter is breaking his silence on the entire affair. At a news conference today, the former minister said he was never drunk and complied fully with the orders of the police officers. He says, though, that the officers were abusive towards him and uttered words making him believe that they were out to get him. This is why he says he contacted the acting commissioner. As Melissa Williams tells us, Mr. Partap is now threatening to take action against police officers.
And I first want to start off by saying, your MP is not a drunk.
Exactly 1 week after his very public dismissal from the government of Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessor, former minister in the Ministry of National Security Colin Partap emerged Tuesday, giving his account of what transpired in the wee hours of Sunday, August 26th, after he left the Zen nightclub leading up to his dismissal. Surrounded by constituents of Kumoto Manzanilla, the MP acknowledged making mistakes by having strobe lights on his vehicle, but insists he never refused a breathalyzer test.
I was asked to pull to the side of the road. I complied. Then I was asked again to do the breathalyzer. I said yes. At no point in time did I ever say no to a breathalyzer.
He explains that he was never arrested or detained but agreed to be taken to the Belmont police station after officers informed him that the test could not be done on site. He says that's when he heard this comment.
I'm going to get this one tonight. Okay? To that effect. I wouldn't say the full sentence.
He says that's when he decided to contact an independent observer to ensure the tests were conducted fairly and the accurate results reported. He says after attempting unsuccessfully to contact his attorney and the Deputy Commissioner of Police, the Acting Commissioner Williams was then called in. The former minister is defending the Acting Commissioner for his professionalism. He, however, has harsh words for other officers whom he believes are responsible for pictures of him surfacing in the media and on social networking sites.
I've been the butt of many jokes over the last week, right? Drunk minister, right? Those pictures were taken by police officers. I have no doubt about that. There was no civilian in the police station when I arrived. And I want to call upon the relevant authorities, and I will be writing to them, to investigate that matter.
The former minister insists, though, he has no malice towards anyone, including the Prime Minister, saying she did what she had to do. Instead, he offered words of apology to his constituents and vowed to work harder as their MP. For CNC3, I'm Melissa Williams.
Vice Chairman of the Congress of the People, Vernon Delima, has raised a motion with the National Executive of the Congress of the People calling for the party to disassociate itself from the People's Partnership Government if the Prime Minister fails to remove National Security Minister Jack Warner from the Cabinet. The motion will be debated by the Congress of the People's National Council on Sunday at the party's head office in Chaguanas. Delima confirmed to CNC3 this evening that he has filed the motion. He says the motion calls for Minister Warner to be removed based on the FIFA controversy last year that resulted in his resignation from the World Football Body, and also because he became the subject of a police investigation as a result of that same matter. He says the Congress, having established itself on a platform of truth and accountability, has been calling for Minister Warner's removal, but has only seen Minister Warner elevated to the position of National Security Minister. He says the party must now make that firm call for him to be removed, failing which the Congress of the People should remove itself entirely from the People's Partnership Government. Meanwhile, the Congress of the People is tonight calling on a government minister to make a choice either to hold public office or to step down and conduct his personal business affairs. In a strongly worded statement issued today, the Congress political leader says it is unacceptable for ministers to venture into commercial business while holding office and wants this minister to immediately remove the core values of the People's Partnership Accord. We have more from Melissa Williams.
More than a week ago, National Security Minister Jack Warner told Guardian Media Limited that he did not wish to disclose whether or not he had any intentions of purchasing controlling shares in Newsday newspapers and the TNT Mirror, and further stated that he could not understand what the big deal was all about. Now on Tuesday, the Congress of the People is condemning such a business move, saying it contradicts the values of the People's Partnership Government to put aside personal interests while serving the public. While steering clear of referring to the minister by name, the Congress Congress of the People's political leader Prakash Ramada, in a statement, says, following a meeting of the National Executive of the Congress of the People, the party believes that the holding of the highest public offices imposes on the holders a duty to the country to conduct themselves according to the highest standards of ethical and political conduct in the public interest. The statement adds that ministers are required to put their commercial interests in the care of others, and adds that the minister's admission to the pursuit of private, purely commercial interests in the proposed purchase is contrary to the very values of the People's Partnership. The Congress political leader notes that quite recently the health minister chose his ministerial duties over his medical practice. The party says it is now demanding that all ministers choose between personal commercial interests and the public interest. The POC says it expects all to avoid potential conflicts of interest and act according to the highest standards of conduct expected of public officials. For CNC3, I'm Melissa Williams.
An investigation has officially been launched into a video which shows a police officer assaulting a member of the public. And the Police Complaints Authority is asking members of the public with any information surrounding the incident to come forward. In a statement issued this afternoon, the authority says it has begun an independent investigation into allegations of excessive use of force between what appears to be an officer of the police service and a member of the public. It noted that the incident was brought to its attention after a video entitled "Police Independence Brutality" went viral on social media. It has already received close to 17,000 views. At this time, no official complaint has been filed by the alleged victim in the video, but according to the authority, Section 21 of the Police Complaints Authority Act of 2006 enables the body to independently commence an investigation into criminal offences involving police officers, police corruption and police misconduct. The PCA believes that this incident is similar to another incident, one at the Pan Trinbago office's semi-finals earlier this year. The authority, which is headed by Gillian Lucky, says it has a zero-tolerance policy for unnecessary use of force against citizens by police officers. It's now time for our Tuesday night segment known as Know Your Rights. And tonight we focus on your right to file a complaint. It's if you feel that you have been wronged by any member of the protective services.
As a citizen of this country, it is important to ensure that your rights and freedoms are never infringed, particularly by the persons who are charged with upholding the law. If ever you feel you have been treated unfairly by any member of the police service, there is an avenue for recourse. Complaints against police officers, including municipal and special reserve police officers in Trinidad and Tobago, are made through the Police Complaints Authority. The PCA is an independent and impartial review body located on the corner of Park and Abercrombie Streets in Port of Spain. Its purpose is to ensure that when a member of the public makes a complaint about a police officer's conduct, it is dealt with thoroughly and fairly. If your complaint is against a member of the Defence Force, you can come here to the Defence Force headquarters at the corner of Abercrombie and Knox Street in Port of Spain in the case of an Army officer. And with reference to a Coast Guard official, you can file your complaint at Stobbles Bay in Chaguaramas. A complaint against any other member of the Defence Force can be lodged at the Defence Force headquarters on the main road in Chaguaramas. Join me, Chester Sambrano, next time as I urge you to know your rights.
Well, it's time now for What You Saw, where we highlight the video and the photos you send us to the address news@cnc3.co.tt.
Our first photo comes from Patrick, who says, "Hey CNC3, check out the wrong spelling on this gasoline transport truck. Air brakes should be spelled air brakes as BRAKES, and it should be approved with a D for gasoline, not approved for gasoline." Then from an avid viewer who tells us that this garbage was thrown onto the roadway of a house in Curepe since Independence Day, and it's still there with no regards for neighbors. And finally from Stephen telling us that across from the Ministry of Works office at Crystal Stream, what was once a well-kept grassed area is now a dump. Can the minister please intervene?
Yeah, we have a lot of spelling problems in this country. You too can send us a video and the photos that interest you. The address news@cnc3.co.tt. And that's all from me. Welcome back to Roger Sand, of course, who has been on a brief vacation. We certainly missed him here. Roger and Charlene, over to you.
Yes, I missed him because I had to read sports some nights.
That was good practice.
It was, all those strange foreign names of those players. Thank you so much for that, Roger. Remember, he was on assignment as well in London.
Correct, yes.
Lucky him, huh?
Yes.
A lucky guy. Yeah. Vacation and assignment in London. All right.
Yeah.
So do some hard work now. You get to do sport. Well, I have to actually remind you of your vote first. Just let's do that. The question we're asking you to vote on tonight is, do you think that at a time when government seeks to cut back on spending, the purchase of iPads for all parliamentarians is an absolute necessity? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, you're texting Y, and if it's no, the letter N. We're going to give you an update on the voting after the Sportscast with Roger, and of course you're texting your response to the number 2623, and we'll give you the final vote at the very end tonight. Now you can start your hard work.
Yes, and I hope you don't get fed up of me in a week or so. Coming up after the break on sports, TTCB and Sports Ministry blanked by Pollard, Narayan and Bravo in favor of their IPL teams. While Afghanistan here in Port of Spain for the Asia versus Caribbean T20 tournament, Ria Ramnarayan wins a close fight on Sunday night. And Ronaldo tries to explain why he's sad. Poor guy. We'll tell you more after the break.
You're talking to your best friend when
you're going to clean their family.
You get cash back.
Yeah, darling.
You're talking to your best friend when you realize you're always a winner. You're talking to your best friend when you get a makeover. You suddenly feel like dancing. Every dog gets its day. You have your cake and eat it too. Nightfall. You're talking to your best friend. Whatever else happens, always get extraordinary value with Digicel. Get $1 cash back for every paid minute on local Digi-to-Digi calls made during the day, so you can talk more at night. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
Studying for a degree, MBA or MSc at the School of Accounting and Management will change your future generation. We teach over 140 different modules that will make you a game-changing success, confident, innovative, inspiring, versatile, and globally employable. Register now at the School of Accounting and Management or visit our website www.samteacher.com or see us always on the front inside cover of your TSCT directory. Programs offered are exclusive to us and unmatched in this region.
Feeling for something nutty? Yeah! KC Candy Butternut Bar, the only one you truly need. The old-time, flaky, nutty, great-tasting KC bar. Having only one is just not enough for this great, nutritious, nutty treat. KC Candy Butternut Bar works for your craving. Available everywhere. KC Candy, we make every moment sweeter.
Home is a warm kitchen in the morning and a bedroom full of kisses goodnight. It's the doorway to a girl's first date and a sofa that feels just right. At Home Mortgage Bank, we've been putting families into their dream homes for 25 years. Maybe it's our favorable rates or no prepayment charge, or that providing mortgages is the only thing we do, which is why
there's no place like home.
There's no place like home. There's no place like Home Mortgage Bank.
Can't concentrate. Can you pause it? I need to go to the bathroom.
No worries, go. Let's see what he has recorded here. Street Dogs, 101 Dalmatians, Scooby-Doo, Sex and the City. Done. Man, you got a nice letterbox. What letterbox? My letterbox?
With DirecTV Plus, it's possible to record all your favorite shows and movies for just $239 a month. You can replay, pause, and rewind all your favorite shows, plus record more than 100 hours of television. Call us now at 672-8111. With DirecTV, everything is possible.
Drink it up now, drink it up now. Drink it up now, drink it up now. Enjoy the new look and same great taste today. Ginseng up, the root of all power.
I think as an artist, it's important to know who you are and what you're for. So it's good to come back home, come back to base, to my roots. If we are a dot, let's be the most creative, passionate, energetic dot they've ever seen. I for that. It's just that amazing simplicity that I love about Trinidad that continues to inspire me. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting I4TANDT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
Trinidad and Tobago's cricket team has failed to secure the services of the 3 star players contracted to the 3 IPL teams for the upcoming Champions League T20 tournament. Having qualified for the competition for a 3rd time, Sports Minister Anil Roberts promised to do everything in his power to send the full-strength team to the Champions League and entered into negotiations with Dwayne Bravo, Kieron Pollard and Sunil Narine. However, it is now understood that those talks have broken down. Jassim Marique has more.
The much-publicized row between the Honourable Minister of Sport and the TTCB over the Cricket Board's inability to secure the services of Dwayne Bravo and Kieron Pollard for the 2011 Champions League eventually led to an agreement between the Minister and the TTCB President that from here on, everything would be done to ensure that any TNT player who was a part of a successful IPL team would have a clear choice between who they should represent at the Champions League. So from the time it became clear that Dwayne Bravo's Chennai were runners-up to Sunil Narine's Kolkata Knight Riders and Kieron Pollard's Mumbai finished 3rd in the IPL, the ball was in the minister's court. He reportedly readied $5 million to buy them out of their IPL contracts, as well as to foot any other expenses which may have become unavoidable in this pursuit. However, today it has been revealed that negotiations with the players have since broken down. The trio will now represent their IPL franchises at the Champions League, but in keeping with another promise which was to ensure that the team had the best preparation possible, Minister Roberts has since promised to make that money available towards team preparation. Communication from the Trinidad and Tobago Cricket Board today stated that, quote, the Trinidad and Tobago senior cricket team has been promised an additional $5 million in funding to adequately prepare for the upcoming Champions League T20 tournament, which will be staged in South Africa next month. This pledge comes from Minister of Sport Anil Roberts on behalf of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, which is committed to having the cricketers in the best shape possible for the 2012 Champions League T20 campaign. Roberts will also place on the cards valuable incentives for the team to win the competition, end quote. Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jassim Marique.
And West Indies middle-order batsman Darren Bravo is looking good at the pre-World Cup T20 World Cup camp in Barbados. This from assistant coach Toby Radford. Bravo was injured recently and missed several games for the Windies, but has recovered.
He's playing well. Almost looks like he hasn't been injured. I know he was out for a period of time, but he's got good spirit. He's worked hard on the bowling machine. We've got a Merlin machine which really gets the ball to spin and dip, and we've imported it over here, and I think it's going to be a great help to us playing spin. We expect wickets in Sri Lanka to turn a little bit. They tend to on the subcontinent, so we think the best way of preparing is playing on that machine, and Darren's been on there as much as anyone.
And halfway into the camp, Bradford is pleased with the overall preparations.
Fitness training, had a good fielding session under lights last night with a bit of dew on the ground, getting prepared really for what we're going to find in Sri Lanka.
And how are the guys shaping up to now?
Very good. Good morale, working hard, everything you can ask. I mean, we know they're a very talented side, and we hope and we believe they can do well, and everything is geared up to, flying off on Sunday in good shape.
The World T20 tournament in Sri Lanka starts on September 22nd. The unknown Afghanistan cricketers are here for the upcoming Asia versus the Caribbean T20 International Tournament. The visitors held their first training session at the Queen's Park Oval this afternoon, the venue for the four-nation competition, as Stilren reports.
They came almost 2.5 hours past their training time at the Queen's Park Oval. No fault of their own, as transport and security issues were out of their control. But on leaving the bus, the players were eager to get to work and they were quickly into their stride. Manager of the team, Shakib Kula Asman Staniskai, who spoke fluent English, stated the upcoming competition is a part of their preparation for the T20 ICC World Cup.
Definitely we are here to win, and we are considering it as a very good preparation going ahead, just ahead of World Cup. So this is going to be a very good preparation, and we know Trinidad and Tobago is a very tough team. We respect them highly, especially in T20 format, Bangladesh and Barbados. So it will be a tough challenge for us, but a very exciting one.
Shakib Kula also pointed out they have a solid all-round team.
It's a totally T20 package. We have real good fast bowling attack, a real good spin attack. We have real good hard hitters.
The manager of the team for the past 2 years stated all of the players are looking forward to play at the venue of world double record holder Brian Charles Lara.
One would say this is a huge achievement for every single players being here and competing in a ground where Brian Lara or Viv Richard or greats of West Indies have played and represented their countries.
Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Astil Wren.
And the Trinidad and Tobago squad for the Asia versus the Caribbean T20 series was the name today. That team is Rayad Emirates, he's the captain, Adrian Barth, William Perkins, Evan Lewis, Justin Gillen, Darren Ganga, Showan Ganga, Jason Mohammed, Shannon Gabriel, Navin Stewart, Dave Mohammed, the spinner, Kevin Cooper, Yannick Otley and Kyle Pierre. The tournament starts on Thursday. Away from cricket now, national swimmer Chantal Ince completed her campaign at the 2012 Paralympic Games in London today. Ince, swimming out of lane 7 in Heat 2, finished 6th in the 400 metres freestyle in a time of 5 minutes 27.88 seconds. At the conclusion of the 2 heats, the Trinidad and Tobago competitor finished 11th overall, which was not good enough for her to advance in the competition. Ince also failed to advance in her 2 other events, which were on the weekend. The other local competitor at the Paralympic Games is field athlete Carlos Green in the shot put and discus. It's the first time in 20 years this country has been represented at the Paralympic Games. Former WBA world champion Rhea Ramnarayan made a much-anticipated return to the ring on the weekend when she fought on the Unified Promotions Independence card at the Woodbrook Youth Facility. Ramnarayan's last fight came in a unanimous decision, a defeat to Anastasia July in July 2011. On Sunday, she squared off with the hard-hitting Stephanie George out of Guyana. Just Marie has more.
The first of 2 ladies' bouts on Sunday evening featured lightweights Jamila Jones in an unusual pink ensemble versus Tiana Sosa Saini, going 6 rounds. They both showed purpose in the opening stages, but this fight was quickly deteriorating into a grappling contest between the two. In round 2, it was more of the same, with the first real piece of excitement coming here as both fighters almost went tumbling over the ropes. Fast forward to the 3rd round, where Jones was looking to score some points with the judges, as this one was obviously not about to end by knockout. And so said, so done, as they went to the judges' scorecards. A short deliberation before Jones was eventually declared the winner on points. Later, it was the turn of a former world champion, Rhea Ramnarayan, in the ring to face Guyana's Stephanie George. But rather than taking George by the scruff, Ramnarayan was met with hostility. Here, she took a solid right to the gut. And the audience was clearly into this fight, later on encouraging the home girl. In a later round, Ramnarayan found further hostility, absorbing a big right hook. But as this fight progressed, she looked to assert herself more, opening a minor wound over George's eye. Into the 6th and final round, George grew more wary, Ramnarayan annoyed by her failure to break off when the referee ordered. This one eventually went to the judges as well. They deemed Ramnarayan the winner by unanimous decision. Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I am Jassi Marik.
Okay, to some football news now. What's Ronaldo's problem? After a long-faced weekend, when he did not celebrate any of his 2 goals, and then admitting he was sad for professional reasons and that the club knew why. Well, he took to Twitter today to try and clear up the situation, and it's now clear as mud. Among the things he said today were, quote, "I am accused of wanting more money, but one day it will be shown that this is not the case," end quote. He also went on to say, quote, "I just want to guarantee to the Real Madrid fans that my motivation, dedication, commitment and desire to win all competitions will not be affected. I have too much respect for myself and for Real Madrid to ever give less to the club than all that I am capable of," end quote. Well, Kenwyn Jones has a new partner at his club Stoke. The newbie is the veteran Michael Owen, who was released by Manchester United in the off-season. At United, he failed to establish himself and in 3 years made just 31 league appearances, scoring 5 times. Speculation over recent days suggested a return to Liverpool could happen as a possible way of boosting their striking options, but Stoke have completed a deal to bring him to the Britannia Stadium. Owen has scored 40 times for England in 89 appearances, but has failed to represent his country in recent years. At the US Open, Olympic champion Andy Murray advanced to the quarterfinals last evening. He needed only 3 sets.
Olympic champion Murray booked his place in an 8th consecutive Grand Slam quarter-final with a straight sets win over 15th-seeded Canadian Milos Raonic, who had his beast of a serve tamed by the Scot. Murray took the first 2 sets 6-4 and the third 6-2. After a tough battle in his previous match against Feliciano Lopez, Murray looked far more impressive and clinical in search of his first major title. Czech Thomas Berdych reached his first US Open quarter-final at his 10th attempt and will play top seed Roger Federer next. Berdych comfortably beat Spain's Nicolas Almagro to finally take his place in the last 8 at Flushing Meadows.
And we'll take you back to the US Open tennis action for the sports eye. Andy Murray in the near court against Canada's Milos Raonic. And this was a great point between the two. Murray with the long shot, but Milos did well to get to it. Murray not putting it away at first, but on the second attempt at the net, easily one of the best points of the match. As we look at it again, hustle and bustle from both men to try and get the point. In the end, it went to Murray. And that's our CNC 3 Sports High. And that's it for your Tuesday Sportscast. Charlene, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Roger. Let me remind you of tonight's Your Vote question. The question we're asking you to vote on tonight is, do you think that at a time when government seeks to cut back on spending, the purchase of iPads for all parliamentarians is an absolute necessity? Well, from your responses so far, 19% of you have voted in yes, it is an absolute necessity, while 81% of you have so far voted in no. Remember, you still have a chance to get your vote in before the end of tonight's newscast. Well, coming up just ahead on the CNC3 News tonight, Pan Maestro Len Bugsy Sharp isn't happy. We'll tell you why. He's taking Pan Trinbago to task. All the details just ahead in the CNC3 News at 7.
I had been a civil servant for many years, and I would try to save for my salary. And one of the reasons I put the money with the unit trust was that I would always have access to it. I'm retired now for 12 years, and I was able to use my collateral as UTC to help set up an office. I have a private practice. I also have 2 businesses. Now it has almost become like family, because no relationship that is going to succeed can really succeed without trust.
My husband and I heard about UTC about 9 to 10 years ago. When we came into a lump sum of money, we put it in UTC as an investment. We also use that lump sum as collateral to be able to send our children away in school. Sometimes our children will have an emergency where they need money quickly. You'll go into UTC, and within 20 minutes, we are out of that building with our check in our hand. Thank God for UTC that they're stable and trustworthy. Trust is in UTC.
guys, the police caravan is coming to you. This might be a start of an exciting career.
Trinidad and Tobago, you need to be a part of it.
I am Super Jigger CC and I endorse the police caravan.
I am Devon Matthews and I'm telling you, you need to go out and see what the TTPS is capable of doing.
I'm Charles Marshall and I endorse the police caravan. Instructions now, the police caravan come to show you how. Get on board.
Come on down to the Police Caravan, Friday, 7 September 2012, Mid-Center Mall Car Park, Chaguanas, 12 noon to 5 p.m. Be there.
The Institute of Internal Auditors is hosting its 24th anniversary week of training, September 11th to 14th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Arthur Lockjack Graduate School of Business. Facilitated by an internationally recognized local presenter and fraud squad representatives. Seminars include fraud risk management, the audit process, and effectively tracking audit evidence. Senior audit staff, new auditors, and aspiring auditors are invited. Register now. Contact the IIA office or email us at iiatt@flowtrinidad.net.
I love fresh salads.
I love the breakfast too. I love the foot long. I love my cut right through.
I love my Subway with all the fresh veggies. I love fresh golden bread.
I love mine stuff just right.
I love their awesome team.
I love mine in the night.
I love my Subway with all the choice of meats. Subway, eat fresh.
Smooth in, frizz out. Suave Professional's Keratin Infusion Shampoo and Conditioner is infused with keratin. It controls frizz for up to 48 hours. Salon proven to smooth as well as Kerastase Ban Oleo Relax.
We now go to Eric Mackey for a look at your weather. Eric.
Thank you, Charlene. Two tropical systems in the Atlantic, both of them tropical storms, and neither of them affecting the Caribbean or anywhere else either. They're out in the mid-Atlantic area here. One is very small. This is Michael, the latest one on the round. And Michael's a very tiny, compact storm, but there. And this is Leslie, which has been hanging out here for the last day or so. There's a big ridge of high pressure up above us blocking this, both of them really, from moving northward fast at all. Leslie doing only 3 knots northward progress, so it's hanging out here. Now what's happening with this, although it's not affecting us directly in the Caribbean, the wind revolving around it is bringing a big swell down into the eastern Caribbean. It's very possible in a couple of days we will see some of those swells along the north coast of Trinidad and across in Tobago. So we'll see what happens with that. It doesn't look as if it's going to be particularly big, but there will be a change, a major change in the direction of the swell, and you'll probably find them lengthen up a bit. They get more powerful as there will be storm swells. Closer to home, we got a bit of intertropical convergence zone activity. Near to Trinidad, there's not much happening, but we've been noticing over the past couple of days, cloudiness tends to build at night, and then early in the morning we get 1 or 2 showers and it clears up for the rest of the day. Looks like we'll have similar conditions again tomorrow. The winds are going to be around 10 to 15 knots, gusting to 18, and out on east to east southeasterly direction. Seas are forecast to be 1 to 1.5 meters, pretty small seas. 7 to 8 second interval between the swells, and out to an east to east southeasterly direction. Gulf of Paria seas should remain below 1 meter. Trinidad tonight's going to be mostly fair tonight, so it'll be 24 degrees. Tomorrow we're looking at the mostly sunny conditions at first. We may have 1 or 2 very early morning showers, then it's going to clear up. We'll get those sunny conditions. In the afternoon it'll become partly cloudy. 1 or 2 brief isolated showers in those clouds. Tomorrow's high forecast will be a hot 34 degrees. Crossing Tobago tonight generally fair and a low of 24. Tobago tomorrow mostly sunny, chance of a shower during the day and a high of 31. Sun's going to rise at 5:56 a.m. and sets at 6:12 p.m. First low tide for Port of Spain will be at 12:40 a.m. and for Scarborough 12:31. First high tide 6:48 a.m. for Port of Spain and 6:40 for Scarborough. And that's my weather report for now. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, Charlene will have some more news for you.
affordable. Lifetime Solutions. You can trust the roof to us. Lifetime Solutions.
Chris Birchall is an international footballer who plays as a midfielder for Columbus Crew of Major League Soccer. He earned worldwide recognition by playing at the 2006 FIFA World Cup for Trinidad and Tobago. English-born Birchall, when questioned about his eligibility to play for TNT Soca Warriors, responded, "Me mum," who is a Trinidad national. Me mum thereafter became his nickname on the national side.
Jones.
His most important contribution to the Soca Warriors came from a stunning equalizer fired against Bahrain from well outside the penalty area in the team's 2006 World Cup qualifying playoffs in Trinidad, enabling the team to advance. Birchall, along with teammate and goalkeeper Shaka Hislop, are the only members of the World Cup squad to have been born abroad, both from England. Chris Birchall, Trinidad and Tobago's legacy in sport.
Modern life can be demanding on your eyes, from outdoor to indoor, professional to sporting activities, to long hours on the computer. LensTech at Ferrera Optical gives you up to $800 off premium lenses with frames to suit your lifestyle needs. Offer ends September 15th, only at Ferrera Optical.
We're testing new Degree, the only antiperspirant activated directly by movement. Activating protection, Bear! The more you move, the more it works. New long-lasting Degree with motion sense. Not me! Keep running.
And don't drink and drive. Designate a friend and lime again. Be the one. A message from Trinidad and Tobago Beverage Alcohol Alliance.
Welcome back. Master panist Len Bugsy Sharp has some strong words today for the steel pan community. Sharp says not enough was done for the steel pan for the 50th independence anniversary, and he placed the blame squarely on the shoulder of Pan Trinbago. Otto Carrington has more.
He is recognized for his great contributions to steel pan. Len Bugsy Sharp, a panist extraordinaire, composer and arranger. Sharp was honored on Tuesday by the Port of Spain Rotary Club, but while being honored, the master panist was highly critical of how the national instrument was utilized in the 50th independence anniversary, which concluded last Friday.
We need new management of any organization, because you have fellows who are in the organizations not doing anything for PAN. Imagine this year, this is 50 years of PAN, 50 years of independence, and Steel Band hasn't done anything. We haven't seen that with the national steel band. With the steel band on the whole.
He reminisced that 50 years ago for the independence celebrations, there was a PAN competition and other activities surrounding the national instrument.
See, by the business, we need to, we said the other company, you all should pick up all your things and go home. Because you're doing nothing for PAN, nothing at all. I mean, the independent, look, they had a primary competition. We have two coded resistance and Mandela. Thank you all for doing that. In 1962, there was a steel band competition and all. for independence. You know, when I co-side, I come from co-side. They haven't done anything.
Sharp says it's time the Steel Pan fraternity is operated by an independent body and believes the current Pan Trinbago executive should resign. For CNC3, I am Otto Carrington.
Skillful work of Len Bugsy Sharp. Well, attorneys for Jamaat al-Muslimin leader Imam Yassin Abu Bakr will appear before the Commission of Inquiry into the July 1990 insurrection tomorrow, Wednesday. On Monday, the Jamaat leader failed to appear to give his much-anticipated evidence about the insurrection. Instead, a junior attorney appeared on his behalf, leaving Commission Chairman Sir David Simmons with many questions about the Jamaat leader's evidence. However, CNC3 News has been told that attorneys for the Imam will appear tomorrow and will make legal submissions regarding his testimony. It is not yet known if a suggestion by Director of Public Prosecutions Roger Gaspard for Imam Abu Bakr's evidence to be heard in camera will indeed be heeded. The Jamaat leader has contended that any evidence given at the inquiry will impact on his trial relating to charges of sedition, incitement and terrorism, which the DPP has indicated will not be dismissed. So we're now going to take a short break. Be sure to stay with us.
Hey guys, the police caravan is coming to you.
This might be a start of an exciting career. Trinidad and Tobago, you need to be a part of it. I am Super Jigger TC and I endorse the police caravan. I am Devon Matthews and I'm telling you need to go out and see what the TTPS is capable of doing.
I'm Charles Marshall and I endorse the police caravan. Instructions now, the police caravan come to show you how. Get on board.
Come on down to the police caravan. Friday, 7 September 2012. Mid-Center Mall Car Park, Chaguanas. 12 noon to 5 p.m. Be there.
A mysterious night arrived at a dirty castle with a bottle of Sif cream. Only Sif's millions of microparticles could lift the cauldron's burnt-on dirt and go on cleaning. So the night was crowned queen. Sif cream, always a beautiful ending.
We now bring you a summary of the main international stories of today.
The Democratic Party in the United States is poised to launch its national convention as it seeks to convince voters that President Barack Obama deserves a second term. He's been campaigning in the swing state of Virginia. Firefighting aircraft arrived in Portugal to help tackle scores of forest fires raging across the country. The 4 aircraft, 2 from Spain and 2 from France, are being funded by the European Union. The UN has warned of a rapid deterioration in Syria, with thousands of people continuing to flee the violence. Over 100,000 Syrian refugees fled last month. That's the highest monthly total since the conflict began. A suicide bomber in Afghanistan has killed at least 25 people and wounded 50 others. He posed as a mourner and infiltrated a funeral attended by several hundred villagers, plus the district governor.
Returning to local news now, First Lady Dr. Jean Ramjohn Richards has called on the nation's youth to take greater responsibility for their actions. Speaking at a graduation ceremony this morning, the First Lady commended the business community for their efforts to reduce unemployment amongst youth. But she says young persons must also try harder. We have more from Rhea Rambley.
Every year, the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce facilitates an internship program for secondary school students. This year, more than 80 students from schools across the country were employed at just over 50 business places. Addressing the graduates' patron, First Lady Dr. Jean Ramjohn Richards pointed out that the Jumpstart program helps encourage participants to take responsibility.
Sometimes young people desire to be treated as adults, but take no responsibility for their actions, putting forward as an excuse their youth.
Chair of the Jumpstart program, Rima Mohammed, admits it was a bit more difficult to find employment for the participants this year, but she's deemed the program a success, as some students were retained by the businesses. Mohammed says the program targets students who would not usually be given employment opportunities.
The perception that students coming from certain schools or living in certain areas are up to no good, unfortunately still persists in our society. However, over the years, we have gathered many assessments from companies who apprentice these said individuals, and in most instances, the reports were very favorable.
Chamber President Andrew Sabga says the Jumpstart program has grown by 100% since its inception in 1997. He believes providing job opportunities for youths is one way of alleviating poverty and social exclusion. For CNC3, I'm Ria Rambali.
As we go, let's bring you the final results of tonight's Your Vote. The question you voted on: do you think that at a time when government seeks to cut back on spending, the purchase of iPads for all parliamentarians is an absolute necessity? 21% of you voted in yes, it is an absolute necessity, while 79% of you voted in no, the iPads are not. Well, that's how we end the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3. Thank you so much for your company. I'm Charlene Ramdani, wishing you a good night.
I'm Samson Anton.
And I'm Roger Sant. On behalf of all of us here at CNC3, we hope to see you again tomorrow.